Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I'm Carmen.
And I'm Tyler Janae.
This is the Friendly Black Girls Podcast, and we are the Friendly Black Girls. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Carmen.
Girl, you got on your LA hat today, representing.
I had to, LA girl all day.
So you're bringing LA to the A.
I had to go ahead and do that.
Okay. I respect it. I respect it.
I like this green on you, though.
Thank you. I'm finding that green is one of my colors.
That's definitely a color for you.
Okay, thank you. I'm loving it. What you been up to? What's been going on?
What has been going on? Just really trying to balance, life and work and my man and my friends. And, it's been a lot, but I've been making it work. I'm sure we all going through things, and doing stuff right now.
No, it is a lot. I graduate with my master's from CAU next month.
The illustrious
CAU.
Yes. Okay.
And
now you can talk about CAU and Howard.
You know that birds.
You've been leaving us to the side.
Yeah, I was itching to say Howard, but I was suppressing it. So thank you for going ahead and doing it for me. But yeah, Howard U and CAU will definitely. Now I have a degree from both, so I'm very proud. HBCU love for sure. But it has been a doozy trying to get this master's degree and run a company, be a wife, be a dog mom, be a friend. It's a lot, girl.
You've been doing it, though.
Life be lifing.
And you look good. You've been doing it.
Thank you. Okay. So, as long as I don't look like what I've been through.
No,
that's all I can ask. So, what's going on? What are we getting into today?
So, we got some hot topics.
Okay.
We have a couple of interesting friend topics that I kind of want to get your opinion on whether you agree or disagree on.
All right. I'm ready.
So, the first one is, in order to be a good friend, you must first master being a good person. Agree or disagree?
100% agree. Like, I feel like if you don't do the work within, then you definitely can't be a friend. How you gonna win when you ain't right within? Okay, so you definitely need to do that to be a good friend.
Okay, I agree with that. Birds of a feather flock together.
Ooh. So this one I'm very much on the fence about because I've heard people say that. Like, I've had a man say that to me before, like, you can't hang out with this girl because birds of a feather fall.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, kind of, but not really. You know what I mean? Just because she jump off a bridge don't mean I'm going to jump off a bridge.
But I might, take a picture if she's enjoying herself on the way down.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's what friends do. So I'm kind of like 50-50 on that. Okay. What about you?
I agree. I'm with you 100%. Because there's some things my friends do that I would never.
Yeah.
But we do have some similarities with each other. Okay, next one. If you text a friend and they haven't responded, but you see them on social media, should you take it personally?
Should you? Probably not. Will I? Probably.
Probably so.
Probably so.
Here at the podcast, we are very real with you.
There's nothing more, I think, frustrating than like reaching out to a friend, not getting a response, trying to reach them, and you see that little green light on Instagram and it says active.
Oh, I didn't even know that exists.
Yeah, girl. All you gotta do is go into your DMs.
Okay.
And when you go into your DMs, you can click on the DM and you can see if somebody's active.
So that means they're online. The app.
Yes.
So they're alive. They're not
talking to you.
Okay. Interesting.
So that could be a toxic trait of mine, but I feel like I saw this meme the other day that said, if you text me and I'm on social media, that's not your sign to text me again or something like that. You know how people be coming up with all these things, ways to avoid accountability in these memes.
You got 48 hours with me. You got 48 hours. If I text you, you don't text me back.
And I do agree, like, for certain situations, my availability does not equal, or my downtime does not equal my availability necessarily. I agree with that stance, but if I'm your friend and I've been texting you all day and you online, I'm going to have a few questions in the back of my mind.
You in trouble. You in trouble. Okay, I got two more. Friends can drift, but they can return stronger than ever.
I've never seen it happen. Not in my life. Not in my life. I've drifted away from friends and we come back maybe, but definitely not stronger than ever.
Definitely not stronger than ever. Yeah,
definitely a little weird.
I would disagree. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have is you can only have one best friend. Agree or disagree?
have had several best friends in my life.
At a time.
At a time.
Okay.
At a time. I have said, oh, this is my best friend. This is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I don't know. That best friend topic can get kind of weird. I know we're going to get into that a little bit later.
We sure are.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you think? Is it just one best friend and that's it?
I think you can have between maybe 1 to 3 from
okay,
different.
that's very specific.
Yes, because you can't go around calling everybody your best friend because then it's not special anymore.
It's not special. You're right.
Best friend. You got 17 best friends.
Okay.
So I don't like what.
Well, you know what? This is like the perfect time to bring in an expert, I think, because we don't know what the heck we talking about.
Okay, well, let's talk about it then.
Let's go ahead and introduce our expert guest here, Shakyra. She is a licensed therapist with Timeless. Welcome to the Friendly Black Girls podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I worked for about 5 straight hours.
Look at you being productive.
Woo.
It was a great day. So how about you?
Now you can have some fun.
So before we get started, because we're going back to the best friend concept, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yes, so I am a licensed clinical social worker. I'm based in Florida. I'm licensed in Florida and Massachusetts. So right now I'm doing full-time therapy, but I'm looking to do speaking engagements, moderations, and other things in the near future.
We love that for you. So you heard it here first. Book her. Okay. She wants to speak on your panel. She wants to speak on your podcast. She wants to do all of the things. Okay. And she knows what she's talking about. So let's get into it. Let's talk about best friends. I think you heard a little bit about our conversation just about, can you have more than one best friend? And do you feel like the best friend concept is outdated? Do you feel like that's an outdated concept? We need your expert opinion.
Okay, well, I'll give expert opinion and a little bit of personal. So I myself have multiple best friends, but in different avenues. So like I have I'm in a sorority. I have a best friend from my line. I have my childhood best friend. I have a college best friend. We all have different relationships. They know each other. They're cool with each other, but we're not like a group of best friends. So one of you, LA hat. I'm not exactly sure your name, but LA hat. Tyler, beautiful name. Okay, Tyler said, yeah, if you have 17 best friends, then it's not special anymore. I was thinking like, if we're looking at it from like a mathematical standpoint, 17 best friends, that's now the baseline, right? Everybody is just a friend. So it's basically we're all friends. But still, who is above? So I like the 1 to 3. I do think is a sweet number for how many best friends.
Best friendship.
Thank you.
So Tyler, you're right. 1 to 3 will work.
7 best friends, and you one of them. No.
So some people are saying that the best friend concept is outdated and that, people should get over it. It creates feelings of like isolation. And one thing I found out in my research is that some schools prohibit kids from saying they have a best friend. They're not allowed to say that because it makes other kids feel left out.
Oh, brother.
This is the trophy generation. The
participation
award generation. You didn't like that?
No, you're doing too much. Now, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't have a best friend.
Yeah. So apparently the concept of best friends is like a recent phenomenon. Like it's not that old. It's like maybe the last few decades where people started being like, oh, that's my bestie or whatever the case may be. So I was reading a blog the other day. And it said, it's a symptoms of living blog. And it calls the concept of best friends toxic for 3 reasons. 1, she says you can't just rely on one person. And when you have a best friend, you tend to just solely rely on this person for all of your needs. Okay? Yeah. The second thing is you can have multiple strong friends. So you might have multiple quote unquote best friends and you want to acknowledge all of them. So you don't have to just say, oh, this is my one best friend. Thirdly, and this one is the tough one, you may not be your best friend's best friend. Ooh. So if you're going around saying, oh, this is my best friend, and she's like, oh, but this is my best friend, but I can't tell her because she thinks she's my best friend and not her.
I've been there.
It could be kind of like an issue. So, expert, Tell us, what should we do in a scenario where we can't decide who's going to be our best friend? Is that a thing that we even need to be thinking about? And if somebody says to us, hey, maybe you aren't my best friend, or you see somebody, your best friend, calling somebody else their best friend, how should we deal with that?
So I really think it's about reciprocation in relationships. And I think also being able to compartmentalize because, like I was saying, if you have a best friend on this side and then you have a best friend at work, like those are two different facets of your life. And you are going to be close. Like you're not going to. Well, I agree with the idea of you can't have one person for everything. I don't think that's what a best friend is. I think a best friend is somebody who we value each other for whatever reasons. It's reciprocated. We are very clear on who I am to you, who you are to me. But if we get away from the titles and the ranking of people in our lives and just live and enjoy each other's company, I think that'll be a better approach to it.
Just live. Just enjoy.
And know your definition of best friend.
And know your definition of
Because
best
I like how you kind of broke down yours. So what's yours, Carmen?
Ooh. I think my best friend, when I think about a best friend, it's somebody who is like, knows my family. They come around. They know like all my deepest, darkest secrets. They could write a book on me. I could write a book on them. They know my likes. They know me at my core. They know the things I don't like. Yeah, like my bestie is the person that I call when I'm in a crunch, when I'm in a crisis. If I have good news, I call her. She's the first one to know if I get engaged.
Now imagine if you had 17 people who could write a book about you. I don't
know. You make a good point. You make a good point. I think we need that hierarchy in some aspect of like, okay, this is my go-to girl. Like I would trust her with my life. I would leave my baby with her. Would, that kind of thing. So yeah.
What is the hierarchy though? You got best friend. Then you got close friend.
Best friend. Bestie.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just kidding. Best friend, close friend, associate. What's under associate? Colleague.
Okay. And stranger.
Okay. Acquaintance. Okay. So tell us in the comments, y'all. Talk to us, girlfriends. What is the hierarchy when it comes to friendships? Or do you even need a hierarchy? Is it an outdated concept? Let us know. But speaking of different friendships, have you heard of the 7-friend theory?
I have not heard of that before.
Okay. What about you? No. Okay. Well, guess what? I'm about to educate y'all right now about the 7-friend theory. It suggests that you need only 7 friends to be happy and prosperous in your life as long as they fill a particular role. Okay. So as long as you have these 7 friends, you'll never be sad and you'll have everything you need. Okay? So the first friend that you need is a friend that you've had since you were little. So if you have this friend, they've known you since you were little, this is a friend that you need. You need to keep them by your side at all costs. Okay. They know everything about you. They know your mama and them. They went to preschool with you, and now they know you now that you're married and you're a full adult. Okay. The second one is a friend that could make you laugh in any situation. So you need a friend that can provide some stress relief, some comedic relief. Okay. Do you have a friend like that?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
But I feel like I am that friend. So if I had to think of this list, I'm that friend.
You're that friend. Okay. A friend that you can go on forever without talking to, but nothing changes. That's what the people like to call a low maintenance friend these days.
You love them though.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, you do love them.
You need to unpack that.
Yeah, because they're there and you never talk to them. And I do have those friends that I could not talk to her for a year or 2 years, but she texts me every Christmas, every Thanksgiving. Like if I text her right now and be like, hey, would you want to go on a trip to Mexico? She'd be like, sure. Yeah. So, I definitely have a friend like that. A friend you can tell anything to. So to me, in my mind, that's the bestie.
Yeah.
That's the bestie. This is the person that's not going to judge you at all. A friend that's like a sister. So she's like your sister, that's your good girlfriend. Hey, sis. Number 6 is a friend you can't imagine not being friends with.
That should be all your
I
friends.
feel like these are blurring lines. Like these are blurring. But that's what happens when you find stuff on TikTok. Stuff blurs all together. Okay. And then lastly, a friend that knows all about your relationship problems, even though they don't want to hear about it. I don't understand why you have to add the even though they don't want to hear about it on the
Like,
end.
dang, just throw me to the wolves.
But anyway, so these are your 7 friends that you're supposed to have. What are your thoughts on this, Shakyra? Do you think that this is a good strategy when it comes to friendship?
I feel like, are these supposed to be 7 separate people?
Yeah, you're supposed to have these 7 people to make your life complete and whole and happy.
Okay, then I disagree. Like you
Oh,
said,
why?
the lines are blurred. You can find a lot of those things in the same person or the same couple of people. And then I also feel like the last one about what did it say? A person who knows all of your relationship problems.
Yeah.
Go to therapy. That
Nope.
should be
Ooh,
restricted.
go to therapy. Ooh, we about to get into that too.
We sure
We are about to get into that. But I think one of the issues, like when you break your friendships down like this, is you can start looking at your friends based on what they do for you, as opposed to who they are. Like seeing actual value in the person.
Yeah.
So I think that's a problem that you can definitely run into. But Tyler, let's talk about telling your friends all your relationship problems. What are your thoughts? Because we came across a post, if you want to read the post, on Twitter, and I'm going to keep calling it Twitter because it's not X for me. It's just not, the name is not giving.
Okay, so it says, my best friend cut me off because I just got in a relationship with a man she doesn't like, even though she's never met him. She just knows the stuff I tell her. So am I wrong for thinking she's grimy?
So basically, her best friend cut her off because she got in a relationship with a man. She was like, okay, I don't think a best friend should ever cut you off for who you're dating. I think she can set boundaries with you in terms of what she wants to hear.
Very true.
Based on you all's relationship, but cutting you off, I feel like that's a bit extreme.
I feel like there's something else going on there. Like you feel like she's just not taking your advice or just not taking your support. So now you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, you mad.
That's not a best friend.
So how much should you tell your best friend, Tyler? I mean, when it comes to your man, and then we're gonna get the real advice from the professional here. But we're gonna talk our stuff.
Okay.
What do you think should happen in terms of how much information you should divulge?
So I had my own opinion before I talked to you about it.
Okay.
And you kind of broke it down and made it feel a little bit better. So originally I said absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Okay,
How's
nothing
your
at all.
relationship doing? Great, fabulous, even though I'm struggling on the inside.
Wonderful.
So the reason behind that is because I feel like once you start sharing too much and too much negative stuff, it makes it really hard for people to like trust the person you're with. They're kind of telling you to break up with the person. And sometimes when you're upset, you might exaggerate and,
This is true.
and say some stuff. So now they're holding grudges that you've let go. And so now this kind of stuff happens with the friend who's like, I told you to stop talking to him. And, he dragged you out the house or whatever the case is. They care about you and they love you. So of course they don't want you to be in that situation. But it can get to the point where the friend is just like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about it. What do you think?
Hearing your opinion kind of changed my mind a little bit because I'm a very open friend. Like I tell my friends pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I might be only child syndrome where I feel like I just need to be talking to somebody else because I didn't get to talk to people when I was a child.
That's a good point.
But, I didn't have any brothers or sisters I could tell stuff to. So my friends became like my close family.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, like those are the people that I turn to in times of crisis and anytime I want to share. But what I have found is that a lot of times I probably share a little too much. And that some of that information can be later used, whether, and we're having an argument or, finally your friend is just telling you what they actually feel about your boyfriend or your husband because you shared so much information. So I think there needs to be a balance. I think you need to be able to find a balance because I do think it's unfair for you not to be able to vent to your friends about your relationship. I feel like you should have a safe space to talk about your relationship, but Expert, tell us what we should be doing in these scenarios.
Yeah. What so between the both of you, what you described were loose boundaries versus rigid boundaries. And the perfect mesh between those would be harmony, perfect balance, right? So I think it really boils down to knowing who you're talking to, knowing who your friend is. Like, you might have friends that we talk to about certain things, or you share a little bit more with one than the other. So just being able to know, like, okay, I told her that he doesn't put the seat down and that I fell in the toilet last week. Maybe I shouldn't tell her that he also didn't wash the dishes and X, you know, to keep that balance. And then also just consulting if it's to a point where you're considering like if this relationship is even worth it for me, that's where you should consult with a professional just to rationalize things for yourself, not just gossip and get opinions.
Yeah. So basically, you telling us to go see the lady.
Yeah, go ahead and talk it out. But I mean, I love what you said about that perfect balance, and that's why talking to Carmen earlier about it, I was just like, you're right. Like I shouldn't feel like I can't talk to anybody about it. So even being able to share like those small little details, like he, like you said, didn't leave the toilet
Didn't put
seat
the
down,
toilet seat, yeah.
or something like that is like okay. But when it comes to like that deep stuff, where it's like like for some people it could be like maybe domestic violence or something like that's the stuff that you might want to talk to a therapist about because it has to do with your safety. But imagine like telling your friend you're going through a domestic violence situation and then being back with the person and then your friend feels like you're in danger. And so, of course, they're going to want to communicate to you. So, I guess it's just figuring out where's the balance, like what stuff is appropriate.
Yeah, because I'm on the fence about even the domestic violence thing. I feel like that's something that you should tell your friend.
Yeah.
Because you need that safe space. What if you need to escape, or what if something happens to you and nobody knows that that was going
Right.
on? Or I don't know. What should we be doing when it comes to scenarios like that? Because there's levels to this.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is. And so I definitely have experience with that. Like I used to teach a domestic violence for victims class. And when it comes to safety planning, one thing that is important because little mini lesson, the power and control will, the cycle of violence, part of that is isolation. So the abusive partner will isolate you from your friends. So it is important to be able to communicate with at least one person who can have your back, or who you could give a safe word to if you're in immediate danger. So that is important. And like you said, with those heavier topics, I do think those are important to know, not just for safety, but also for understanding other people's experiences and being able to exchange and see where you can learn and grow. Like, yeah, my husband said this about me. What do you think? Do you think I should let up a little bit, or no?
Yeah. Okay, so we discovered today that I have loose boundaries. Okay. And we discovered that Tyler has rigid boundaries.
Yes.
But I want to talk a little bit more about the things that we shouldn't be sharing with our friends. So I know we had a list, Tyler.
Yeah, so according to marriage.com, they said these are some things that you should keep private. So you kind of let us know if you agree or disagree because this is still the internet. Okay. So it says financial problems within the relationship and the marriage is the first one. Second is deep family secrets. Next is the most personal details of your sex life, infidelity, things that make your partner insecure, and heated arguments between the two of you.
I agree with those.
Yep, I do too. I think all of those are just pretty private. So, what are some things, I guess, on the opposite end? What are some things that you feel like are okay to share with your friends?
That's a good question. I think things like, again, from your perspective, like I approach this situation like this. How do you feel I could do like what do you think I could do differently? How can I approach it?
Mm.
Those kind of things,
Okay.
it gonna assess how you can be a better.
Ah, okay. So make it about you. Don't make it about the significant other.
Or maybe if they've been through it too.
Uh-huh.
Like, how did you get out of this situation?
Yeah.
Because he keep leaving this toilet seat up.
Yeah,
What
like,
did you say?
what did you do? Did you put a lock on the bathroom door? How did you figure this out? Okay, got it.
Conversation.
All right, cool. So, believe it or not, that isn't our main topic for the day. Our main topic for the day is I can't afford my friends. I can't afford my friends, okay? And so, we came across an article by Refinery 29, and it just talked about this crisis, I guess, that we're in, where people are not able to afford their friendships anymore, and it's causing a major rift in these relationships. And so, essentially, the article says the economy has impacted 1/3 of people's ability to hang out with their friends. And so it goes on to say how a friendship unraveled because a friend took a trip to visit her friend and started to get irritated because that friend didn't want to do a whole lot. But she felt that she had sacrificed all of this time, this money, these resources to get there, that she wanted to go out. Okay, she wanted to go to the club. She wanted to go to the bar. She wanted to go to the festivals. She wanted to do all the things. And her friend kind of just wanted to chill. But her friend also was in a different financial bracket than her. So she kind of wasn't really considering the sacrifice. And so a lot of stories, there were a lot of stories within the article. And one girlfriend says she's noticed people within her circle spending more time with friends that have comparable salaries. So basically, there's like a class divide amongst friend groups, which I found to be really, really interesting. And so, people are now having these difficult conversations about finances that you may not have had before. Like, girl, how much money do you make? Because you be in Bermuda, you be in Mexico, you be in South Africa, and you want me to go to the bars and things like that. And so basically, this friend said that her good girlfriend told her mom that she didn't think she would be able to hang out with her anymore because she simply just couldn't do the things that she wanted her to do. So let's stop there for a second and just talk about that. Tyler, has that been an experience for you and your friend groups, or do you know anybody that's experienced that?
Yeah, so this happened to me, I want to say maybe like last year, like around, I'll probably say like 2024. We're already in 2024.
Yeah.
Probably like 2021 when, things were a little bit more difficult for me. But my friends, they were about it. They totally understood. And so instead of like going out to the club and getting the tables and, picking the bottles, like they were like, okay, we got to make sure that we support Tyler during this time. Cause I just couldn't go.
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of person who's just like, like, can you buy me a drink? And even if it's offered to me, like, oh, girl, we'll take care of you. I just don't like that.
Yeah.
And so if I don't have the money, I don't want to go. And so they would start doing more stuff that didn't require a lot of money, like, museums and picnics. And, I'll bring the crackers and you bring the juice type of thing. And so
those are some good friends.
That really helped me out and made me feel less insecure about it.
Because it can be embarrassing, I imagine. Like, it makes you feel kind of like, I'm the broke friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nobody wants to feel like that. But, how would you suggest that we approach a conversation like this? If we find ourselves being in a friendship where, things are getting weird because of finances and you might not be able to necessarily make the brunches and make the trips. How do you approach that conversation without things getting weirder than they need to be?
Yeah, I think first being vulnerable, that's important. Like it goes back to the type of friends you have, being able to know that you have these friends you can have these conversations with. And then just being upfront about it. Like, listen, I can't do this right now, but I still want to hang out. So you can open that door to let it be known that like I'm not completely closing myself off to hanging out, but we just have to hang out on a budget for this season. I'll give you an example. That's me right now. I'm in grind mode. I have deactivated my personal social medias. I'm focused on business. And I said, hey, y'all, I know we do our monthly outings. I can't right now. Don't invite me anywhere. Now, if you want to come over, order some pizza, we cook, we do that. We could do that. That's fine. But I can't go out.
I'm not going to be at the brunch and I'm not going to be at the tables. Okay. I love it. That's what you call a firm boundary.
No, for real.
Okay. So I came across some comments on the Black Girls Bravada page because they were discussing the same topic. So I found some of these comments to be pretty interesting. So Aisha Dara, 42, she says, I could not travel again to the island for a wedding because of funds and time off, and I was ghosted. Now they are no longer married. I saved $1,700 for 60 hours. Okay, Aisha.
Ooh.
That was a little shady.
It did.
Okay.
It was.
So Life of Art says, that's because y'all don't want to go to Applebee's. It's a different time. Back in the day, we would get our 2 for $20, then hit the club. No social media to tell us we were broke. And I, for one, say, Life of Art, you are correct. Because that Applebee's be hitting, especially that Long Island iced tea, okay? Get you a nice little 2 for
They
$20.
do something with them drinks. 'Cause they be
Baby,
on the way out like,
that was a time. You hear me? Yeah. Life with Tay, she says, I think it's all about transparency. Instead of trying to keep up, simply express that you're not in a position to do certain things or go to certain places. The problem comes when people don't communicate and instead flake or fall off because their inner resentment towards you because of your financial situation. And I said, okay, Life with Tay. And that's true. That goes back to our consistent conversation about communication.
Yeah.
Communication. Sometimes it's as simple as doing what Shakyra just said and saying, all right, y'all, let's all come to the round table. Let's all get at the red table. And here's what it is for the next quarter.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And I think people end up respecting that a lot more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The last thing is, Mariamora _artist said, actually, a friend ghosted me because I couldn't afford going out with her. I literally go out with her once a month for coffee because it's all I can afford. So those are some comments. I thought that they were very interesting. And it sounds like it's something that a lot of people are dealing with within their friendships. So I don't know. Any last words about the finances? I know for me, in my friend group, I have friends of all financial statuses.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, I just pick and choose what activities I'm going to do with each of them. I know what I'm about to do with each person. So, for example, I know who I can ask to do just a random trip to Mexico versus who I need to plan ahead with and, stay in a certain realm when it comes to the cost.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a good friend, I think you'll at least do that.
Yeah, this last comment right here about being ghosted because she couldn't afford going out with her. I'm like, that's not your friend.
Yeah, that's not nice.
That's convenience. I got somebody I can go out and take pictures with and stuff, but now you can't afford to go out with me?
Because why can't I come over to your house?
Yeah, like where is that? Where's the cheap stuff at?
Yeah.
Girls' night in.
Yeah. Ladies' night. They be letting people in for free.
But going outside costs $200 every time
it sure does. Every time you breathe, honey. All right. And so we did have some other comments just about, we've been getting a lot of comments on our social media page lately, just about the content that we're posting. So we posted some content about being ghosted while depressed. And so I just wanted to read a couple. Big Nelly Style says, I really hope my friends feel comfortable letting me know where they are at mentally. I wish we could be a little more vulnerable in our relationships to say, hey, I'm having a hard time. I need some space. I honestly understand both sides because unintentionally depressed people can come off as flaky or uninterested, especially if they don't have the energy to return calls. So I like what she said, going back to the communication. Morgan is a whole mom. She says, lost a few friends for this, but honestly, the ones who get it. Being able to be open with your friends and for them to accept you when you are at this point in time is a necessity for a real friendship. So please, please, please continue to comment on our page, share our videos, tap into this amazing podcast that you're listening to right now. We want to hear from you all the time. So speaking of hearing from people, we have some listener questions.
We sure do.
You want to?
I'm going to go ahead and break down this listener question from Camille. She said, hey, friendly Black girls. Hey. She said, love the show. That's beautiful. We're so happy you love it. She said, I haven't really came across a show like this, and it's super important to have these kinds of conversations on a public platform. She said she'll keep it super short. So here we go. She said, I have a good friend that I've known for quite some time, 8 years to be exact. She's a pretty girl, but I feel like she doesn't have a whole lot of confidence for some reason. And it's becoming more and more obvious that she is, and she put this in capital letters, severely photoshopping her photos like she truly doesn't look like herself. She says she's facing a dilemma because she has a guy friend who wants to hook up with the friend. And she knows that based on the photos, he probably wouldn't be as interested as he thinks she looks. So she wants to know, like, what should she do? Should she still set it up and give the number anyway? Or should she just not do it? And because she feels like maybe her friend might get her feelings hurt. So what are your thoughts on that?
That is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm big on letting people make their own decisions because you will not tell me that I gave you ill advice. So basically kind of getting in her head about how she feels about it, like, and I feel like I would just let it be a bigger conversation about like the root causes of you altering those pictures. Like, why do you Photoshop the pictures? And let's talk about that because I think I would kind of lean towards getting her to realize maybe she's not even in the position to date because she has some inner work to do. If that makes sense. So
That would hurt my feelings if my friend told me that.
You're not in a position to date.
She was like, "Yeah, you need to focus on you first."
if you look it out.
Yeah, no, I think if it was me, I would have still given the information because who knows? Like maybe he would have, still fell in love with her personality and thought she was, still attractive even though she didn't look like those photos.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I would have I done the same thing. Like to me, that's not my business.
Nope.
Kind of, like y'all figure it out. You like him, he likes you apparently, and so when y'all get together, y'all can figure it out on your own. But I do like the idea of still having a conversation with your friend just about like what's the deeper things that are happening underneath all of this. Why are you consistently photoshopping your photos? And we can tell, sis.
That's because you are so direct.
I
know. Like, look now.
No, I had to tell a friend that before.
Really?
Yeah, because people were coming to me talking about her pictures. It's like, that your friend's picture is like, how when you Photoshop something, it's like an indent.
Yeah.
In a in the wall, be looking lopsided and stuff. And I was like, well, sister, the people can tell. They know. The secret is out. The cat's out the bag, baby. So we're gonna have to just, as a unit, let's think of some other ways that we can look cute on the internet. Okay. So anyway,
funny. I'm sorry.
This show was all over the place, y'all. We don't know what the topic was today, but regardless, we got a lot of good information in. Shakyra, thank you so much for joining us. Where can the people find you online?
I am at Timeless Therapeutic on Instagram and on TikTok, and my email is connect@timelesstherapeutic.com.
Awesome. Well, definitely check her out if you want some advice. Please don't come to us because we don't have any. We don't know what we're talking about. All right. Follow us at the Black Girl Social Club. And remember, being a good friend is a blessing, but having a good friend is an even bigger blessing. Until next time, cheers.
Bye.
Bye.